Designing the different components of the artificial harbours. The gooseberries or artificial breakwaters would be made up of bombardons, block ships and phoenix caissons. Bombardons made up the first breakwater of the harbour. They were a chain of floating X-shaped steel rafts. They were 65 metres long and 8 metres high. They were hollow and could be partially filled with water. They were anchored in 20-metre deep water, placed 15 metres apart, and made a barrier of 1,600 metres. These bombardons halved the size of any wave that hit them. Block ships were old warships and merchant ships that could be manoeuvred into position and then sunk to create a barrier. They were chosen so that even at high tide, a minimum of 2 metres of deck was showing. They provided sheltered water for unloading and for smaller ships to dock. These vessels made up about 7,000 metres of breakwater. Phoenix caissons came in 6 different sizes. The largest weighing 6,044 tonnes and the smallest weighing 1,672 tonnes. The largest were 60 metres long, 17 metres wide and 18 metres high. They were built out of concrete, steel and corrugated steel sheet. They were filled with sand or water and sunk to complete the artificial breakwaters. Whale piers. Whale piers were concrete and steel pontoons that weighed 1,000 tonnes. At each side they were fitted with steel piles, 30 metres long and weighed 40 tonnes. These were the most ingenious pieces of work, for the piles allowed the platforms to move up and down with the tides. The piles were controlled by a system of cables and pulleys. Floating roadways formed jetties. They were mounted on steel and concrete caissons. At one end they were fixed on the beach and at the other to floating pontoons. They were built out of concrete and moved with the tide. They allowed ships to unload straight onto lorries, which then went along the road to the shore. It was decided that there would be 2 harbours, Mulberry A in the American section and Mulberry B in the British